welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and today we see the return to the channel of one of my very, very favourite constructors. This puzzle on the screen is called 10-0, and it's by the magnificent Qodec, and slightly scary Qodec as well, because I have just looked up this puzzle on Logic Masters Germany, and this has a 100% approval rating. Well, that's not terribly surprising, but also 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty. And that is slightly worrying. I did know this was difficult because one of the reasons we're tackling it today is we've had lots of recommendations from people who have presumably solved it. We've also had lots of requests to solve it from people who I'm guessing haven't managed to. So I knew it would be hard. I wasn't quite sure it was going to be 5 stars out of 5 hard. I'm starting this at 4:30 in the afternoon. Which, if this is sort of a 2.5-hour video, I could be in a lot of trouble. I hope I won't be, but I'm obviously, that is the risk. The rules are so magnificently simple. This is a 10-line puzzle, which is, I guess, why it's called 10-0. I'm not sure if the O is a pun. 10-0. I have no idea. I've basically got no idea. But I'll read the rules in a moment or two. I've got a couple of things to say first. Firstly, if you're a patron of the channel, check out Patreon at the moment. We've got this kids Sudoku hunt, which is fantastic. And if you didn't do the DIMONO Jewels of Osiris, you must check that out too, as well as all the other bonus content we have going on Patreon all the time. It is the best Sudoku club on earth. And then I've got a few birthdays to do today. Just before I turned on the webcam, I had a request from David Ratner, one of the absolute legends of the Sudoku community, to congratulate Amy Steele on her birthday. So Amy, one of the most, brilliant viewers, because always Amy's comments under the videos are positive and just a delight for us to read. So Amy, we hope you have an absolutely brilliant birthday today, with of course lots of chocolate cake. Now next, Isabel, it's your birthday today, and I know this because your friend Mariana wrote to us, and I think we read out your birthday last year, so I'm delighted to hear you're still watching and still enjoying these puzzles, and I hope you have lots of cake today, obviously. Now, Matt, it's also your birthday, and I know this because your wife, Samaya, wrote to us. And I hope this is as much of a surprise to you as she thought it might be. Matt, have a great day today. And then finally, we had an absolutely lovely email from Kirsten over in California, who turns 49 today. And thank you so much, basically, for that email. It's the sort of thing that makes our day, receiving that. And Kirsten, I hope you have an absolutely splendid day over there in one of my favourite places in the world. Although not a place I've managed to go. Gosh, when was the last time I was in California? It must have been over 10 years ago. That is a sobering thought. Well, you never know. Maybe one day I will get to go back. Anyway, that's all the birthdays. So let's have a look at the rules of Qodec puzzles. Puzzle, singular. Let me reposition my keyboard as well. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each line consists of one or more contiguous groups of cells, each of which sums to 10. These groups of cells cannot overlap, and digits may repeat freely on lines and even within sums. So let's pick... I don't know which one. Do I have to pick one of these complicated looking lines? I guess so. So what does this mean? Well, it means that we need to be able to divide up this funny complicated looking line into a number of sets, each of which adds up to 10, and the sets can't overlap. So imagine those cells added up to 10, and then those added up to 10, and then these, and that's not going to work. Those two added up to 10, and then those two added up to 10. That would be a possible way, I think, without doing any maths on this, that this line could work. So we'd have to, and let's fill in some digits. So let's go 5, 2, 3, 1, I don't know, 1, 2, 7 would work, I think. I don't think I've broken Sudoku yet. 4, 6, 9, 1. Don't know, that might be wrong for some reason, but it looks like it might be right as well. And then, so the green add up to 10, the blue add up to 10, the orange add up to 10, the red add up to 10, none of them overlap. I didn't think about the opportunity to repeat digits, that just seems very complicated. But that is a possible way a 10 sum could work. So do have a go at the puzzle, even though it's difficult. You know it's Qodec, so you know it's going to be absolutely mesmerising. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play, I better get on with it. Let's get cracking. I have a horrible feeling I've got to figure out these lines at the start. I mean, I have not really got a clue. It looks like a sort of spectacled person. It looks like I'm staring back at myself. Well, okay. I mean, frankly, oh, I just had another thought, actually. Let me just... I realise at the moment all you see me do is go, that's not terribly useful, is it? No, I think that the second thought I had, I don't really understand. So let me go back to the first thought I had, which is these 3 rows, I think, are completely covered by line. Now, I think what that means, I'm actually going to change that slightly. I'm going to change that by taking out those 3 cells. I'm just wondering if we can do some maths on that great expanse of green that I've just drawn. Because there is a secret. Now, the secret is something I only tell my favourite people, a bit like Linnea from Thunder Mother. The secret is, of course, if you're watching the video, it goes without saying, you are one of my favourite people. The secret is that any complete row, any complete column, and any complete box of a Sudoku, because those things contain the digits 1 to 9 once each, sums to 45. So these 3 rows of the Sudoku must sum up to 135, 3 times 45. But these 3 lines that I've just sort of highlighted have to sum to a multiple of 10, don't they? And that means that those 3 digits, let's make those blue, these blue cells have to add up to a number that ends in a 5. Now, one of those options is absolutely useless. But 2 of the options I think might be interesting. So what numbers could these 3 digits add up to that ends in 5? Well, one of them would be the number 5. But that would mean there would have to be a repeated digit in blue, because you can't, 3 different digits would add up to at least 6, wouldn't they? 1 plus 2 plus 3. Now the next option is much less good. Let's imagine these added up to 15, which I think is perfectly possible. Then, of course, well, they can't all be... Actually, they can't be 5s, I'm suddenly realising, for a different reason. But yeah, but the point is, 3 cells that sum to 15, the average value of the cells is 5. And that is a very average number in Sudoku. So that I think is not going to be constrained, other than noting you obviously can't have 3 5s there, for lots of different reasons. Amongst those reasons is you can't put 2 5s on one of these little lines. But if we had 25 for these squares, then it's a bit like having 5, in the sense that there must be a repeated digit now, but it's just going to be a high repeated digit. Because if we made these as big as they could be without repeating a digit, they would be 7 plus 8 plus 9, and that's 24, and that's not the same as 25. There's a knowledge bomb for you from cracking the cryptic. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this isn't easy though, is it? This is not easy. Sorry, I just notionally divided this line up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I I got 12 before. Anyway, does that change the maths? Oh, not actually that much. So I think that the maximum that this left spectacle can add up to would be 5 times 10, because obviously to make a 10 sum we need at least 2 Sudoku digits, because you can't write 10 into any individual cell. So if I divide this spectacle up into as many groups of 10 as I could, I would make each of those strings just 2 digits, wouldn't I? And I seem to be able to do that 5 times. So that means that we've got a possibility of putting a maximum of 50 on this spectacle, plus that spectacle, which is exactly the same shape. So that gives us 100 of our 135 as a maximum that's on the green lines. Now this one, the problem is that I'm not sure whether this is true, but I think that could be 1, 2, 3, 4. And that would be one lot of 10, or it could be two dividers up into 10. If it was 2 dividers up into 10, then we'd be at 120, wouldn't we? But that's the absolute maximum, and that would force these to be 15. Okay, so I don't think actually I can make these add up to 5, because I don't think I can split the 10 lines up into enough parts. So that's slightly interesting. So the sum of the blue digits is either 15 or 25. I know which one of those I want it to be. Okay, I've had another thought now. I'm thinking about 5s in the green, because none of the blues can be 5 for obvious reasons, because if you put 5 you're going to have to put another 5. So there's obviously a 5 in row 3, there's a 5 in row 4, and there's a 5 in row 5. So there are 3 5s to allocate to these 3 different lines. Now I'm not saying, well, I am saying actually, now I think about it, I can't put 5 on the little triangle, because if I've put 5 on the little triangle, how on earth am I going to break this triangle up into contiguous groups that add up to 10? I mean, let's just try it. If we put 5 here, we can't put another 5 on it now, so we could do something like 2, 3, 2, 3, but then I'd have to write 10 into this square, and that's not going to work. So actually, I've got to put 3 5s on 2 spectacles, which is... The thing is, I could do this actually, look. I could do that. So I can actually use up 2 5s in the same 10 sum. Because if I couldn't do that, I would have to use 6 low digits, wouldn't I? That feels too many. That's far too many, actually. That's far too... okay, right. So this is... I think this is about balancing high and low digits, is it? So what I'm now wondering about is... Yeah, okay, I've got to put... In this row, there's got to be a 6, 7, 8, and 9. In this row, there's got to be a 6, 7, 8, and 9. In this row, there's got to be a 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's 12 high digits. Now, those 12 high digits, how are we going to form 10 sums with them? Now, the minimum number of low digits that I could use to satisfy 10 sums involving those 12 high digits is... Oh no, hang on, I could put them in here. Oh, hang on. All right, no, I've confused. Well, yeah, okay. Well, let's still do the sums on this. So the minimum number of low digits that I need in the green cells is now 9, isn't it? Because what I'm thinking is I could put high digits into the blue cells, and those high digits don't require a low digit in green. But every other high digit, look, if I put a 6 in here, how do I make this part of a contiguous sequence that adds up to 10? Well, I've got to put at least one low digit. I could put a 1-3 pair. Or actually, now it occurs to me, I could put double 2, couldn't I? But I must put at least a 4 in one cell. So I must use up one low digit for the 6. So that if I put high digits into all those 3 squares, I need 9 low digits. It's still going to break this. I need 9 low digits to deal with the high numbers and making 10 sums out of them. Now, I've got to put 3 5s in green. Now, each of those 5s hang on a minute. Can't be paired. Oh, it can be paired with. Oh, hang on. Now I'm completely confusing myself. 9. I've got 12 high digits, 9 of which at least must appear in green. So they need 9 low digits. I've got 12 low digits to play with, so I've got 3 low digits to allocate to the 3 5s. But that doesn't work at all, does it? How does this work then? Hang on. Let me just think about this. So each 5... Well, I could... Well, actually, one thing we can say for certain is that I can't have the 3 5s each using 2 low digits. That's very clear, because then I would have 6 low digits there, 9 low digits to deal with the high digits, and that's 15 low digits in 3 rows of the puzzle, and there are only 12 low digits. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 in each row. So that doesn't work. And that means, surely that means that I have to have a double 5. Because I can't even have 2 of the 5s taking 2 low digits. So yeah, sorry, I'm not being very articulate here, but what I'm thinking is, if I put a 5 in the grid, there's basically only 2 ways this 5 can... The 5 can either consume another 5 like that, that's possible, or it has to use at least 2 low digits. But if I have 2 5s, or bear in mind I've got 3 5s to deal with, if I had 2 5s and they don't pair up in that sort of relationship, then I've already broken the low digit boundary, because these are going to each use at least 2. So that's 4 between these 2. And then I've got to add that to the, what was it, the 9 I need for the high digits, and that's 13, which is too many low digits. So what we now know is I must pair up 2 5s. So the other 5 is going to take up at least 2 low digits. Right. So hang on, let me just get my thoughts structured here. So I've got at least 2 low digits. I think it could take 3 with something like that. This is all predicated as well on, and then if it did take 3, then all of the high digits would have to be paired up with exactly 1 low digit. Okay, well that's possible. So either we're in that world, or the 5 is joined with 2 low digits, and 5 is joined with 2 low digits, and then one of the high digits needs to join up with 2 low digits. So something like the 622 silly example I did. That would work. Okay. But this is all predicated on me putting 3 high digits in there. Now if I was to put a low digit in one of those, that's not going to work, is it? Because now I've only got 11 low digits to play with. The fact I've put a high digit, I've taken a high digit out of there, still means I need that. If this high digit was in green, I then need to put an extra low digit with it, and I've lost a degree of freedom because I've had to give away a low digit. So hang on, look, if we put the 6, 7, 8, 9, if we put this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and we move that 6, 7, 8, 9 into the green, now I've got 10 high digits in green, which need at least 10 low digits to deal with them. I've only got 11 low digits because this has become a low digit. And yet I've got to deal with 3 5s. And one of the 5s needs at least 2 low digits, so it breaks the world. Right. So this is a very long-winded way of working out that actually we're in a paradigm where we need these to all be. Oh, this is. Oh, I've got it. I now see what's going on. Right. This is so clever. This is so clever because. Remember where we were before we even started thinking about this? I was noting that these 3... Oh, hang on, they can have repeats. Oh, Bobbin's face. Oh. No, it's fine. What am I talking about? I can't even do maths. No, it's fine. This is beautiful, and I'm getting... My brain is slowly starting to understand it. Right. What's the minimum value of those 3 cells? Well, I can't make them all 6, but imagine I could. They would add up to 18. Now, 18 is more than 15. We know the blue squares add up to a number that has a 5 at the end of it. So these must now add up to 25, which means there is a repeated digit in blue. Now, so you could do 99. 997 is one possibility. Or 889. And 77 doesn't work. Right, okay, so this is beautiful. So in order to make my 3 blue digits add up to enough, they must add up to 25. There must be a repeated digit. It's either a repeated 8 or a repeated... Oh, it's either a repeated 8 or a repeated 9. Those two can't repeat. They're in the same row. So that must be the repeated digit. So that digit is an 8 or a 9, and it repeats in one of these 2 squares. So if this was a 9, there would be a 7 in one of these 2 squares. If this is an 8, there would be a 9 in one of these 2 squares, as well as the repeated digit. Sorry, I just nudged the microphone. I didn't mean to. And to deal with the 5s, in green, remember that to deal with the 5s, I couldn't have 2 5s. that were taking 2 low digits. So we had to have a pair of 5s. Now, if you've got to put a pair of 5s on a between line, where are we putting that? Not a between line, a 10 line. Where are we putting that? It's got, they can't, obviously, you can't put 2 5s there. That's going to break the rules of Sudoku. So we're going to have something like this, or this, somewhere. Oh, I tell you what we can do. We can put some low digits in to make these lines add up to 10. In row 5, the 5, we know the 5's not on the triangle, so the 5 is either here or here. I was hoping that was going to tell me something useful about the world, but actually either of those two squares could be in a double 5 relationship, because they could go across the boundary. So one of those cells is a 5, which is a particularly poor pencil mark. Now, so okay, I'm just trying to keep a mental list of what I know. I know there are 2 5s that join together across a box boundary. There's another 5 which is either part of a 4-cell sequence adding up to 10, or it's part of, and then everything else. Then everything else is adding up to is a 2-cell sequence dealing with all the other high digits. Or the 5 is in a 3-cell sequence adding up to 10, and every high digit except for 1 is part of a 2-cell sequence adding up to 10. No, okay. No, sorry. I was just wondering whether I could put 5 there. I can't put 5 there. Forget about putting 5 on the triangle, Simon. That is not an intelligent thought. So maybe it's not about 5s then. Is there... could even put 5s there. 5s on this line. Can't put 5. Nearly. Column 1. Where does 5 go? I can't put 5 on this sort of reversed Italy boot here, because these are all in the same box, so the minimum the other 3 digits would add up to would be 6, and 5 plus 6 is more than 10. Another knowledge bomb. So where does 5 go in this column? Well, it can't go on a 2-cell thingy thing when the thingy thing is all in the same column, because the thingy thing won't add up to the right number and Sudoku rules will be broken. So the 5 is in green, but we don't know. I was hoping I could get rid of this pencil mark, but there's a 5 in one of those two, which is really, so if I knew that there was a 5 in this domino, then I would know that was a 5. Oh. Right. Well, here's a thought. There are 3 5s to be located in green. One of them is here, and one of them is in row 5 somewhere. But we know that of the 3 5s, 2 of them are paired up in a 10 sum. Well, this one, I don't think, can be paired up with another 5. Because if this is a 5, I can't make that a 5 or that a 5. And if that's a 5, I can't make this a 5. So this one sits on its own. Oh, go away. Big insect flown in. So that means that whatever's in row 5 is in... Right, this is in... this is beautiful. Got it. I've got it. Right. So whatever's in row 5 is in a diagonal 10 sum. Now, it can't be that digit and it can't be that digit, because these can't be in a double 5 relationship. So it's got to be these, and one of these is now a 5 across the boundary. And look, if there's a 5 in one of those, that's not a 5, and I've got a digit. That is a 5 in exactly this position. And there's a 5 in one of these. It's either double 5 here or double 5 here to complete the 5s. And we know this 5... bobbins. I was hoping I was going to be able to say something intelligent about how many digits it was joined up with. But I don't think I can do that. So... I know that this 5 is part of at least a 3-cell sequence. It's something like this, or this, or this, but it could be that, or that. Let me think about this, sorry. If it's part of a 4-cell sequence, I'm using up 3 low digits, but I've still got 9 high digits and 9 low digits that can be paired up. Yeah, okay. I can probably do better with somehow with these digits. I know, because I know there's a repeat. This one is in one of those 2 squares. So this one is in one of those 2 squares. So this one is in one of these squares. Is that interesting? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's quite difficult to put this digit on this triangle. I'm just thinking about that. I mean, if you put this digit on the point of this triangle in either of those 2 places, let's just give this a colour a moment. So let's make that yellow. Let's put yellow here. Now, neither of these squares can be that one by Sudoku, so this cannot be part of a 2-cell 10 sum. And that is weird, because that means, okay, so what sort of 10 sum is this part of? It's got to be part of a 4-cell 10 sum. Because it can't be part of a 3-cell 10 sum, because then the other digit will be a 10. And how are we going to make 4 different digits add up to 10? Well, there is a way. If they're 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then one of these would be double 5. That digit would have to be high. That digit would have to be low. That digit would have to go there by Sudoku. And it would all be incredibly constrained. But it is, I think, possible. Probably. It probably is possible. That digit is repeated in one of those, so that digit's in one of those 4 cells. Now that digit, I mean, if you put this digit here, it's too big to be part of a... Oh no, it's not actually. That could be an 8 and that could be a double 1. It's really tricky actually, this. It's very tricky. It's tricky to get a handle on how it's going to work. So the 5 is taking at least 2 low digits. I don't know. I need to get rid of this yellow thing as well because that's discombobulating me. And I need to think again. Okay. Can I tell? I don't even... I was wondering if I could tell which of these was double 5, but I don't think you can. Is there a need to put a 5 somewhere else, which is going to be kiboshed by a diagonal 5? I don't think so. What about... Oh, okay. I do know one of those 2 squares is yellow. That feels like it's worth recording, doesn't it? Oh, I tell you what, maybe the better idea would be, can I rule out that digit from one of those 2 squares? Because if I can get this digit onto the triangle, then I know the triangle is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Quadruple. And that feels like it would be a useful thing to know. I mean, that's probably how you solve this puzzle, actually. You get this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. And that's going to do, it's going to put so much pressure on the spectacles that you can probably start plotting the 10 sums, probably. Okay, so what would happen if this was green? Sorry, if this was yellow. If this was yellow, it's a 1 or a 2. So that's going to push the double 5 over to the other side, isn't it? So this would be a 1 or a 2. Wow, okay, that's interesting. Is it the same on that side? Ah, that's really interesting. So if this digit is in one of these 2 places, it can't be part of a 2-cell 10 sum. And that's the reason for that. Let me try and show. Let's just imagine this was yellow for a moment. If this is yellow, we know that's double 5 now. But how could this be part of a 2-cell 10 sum when we know this domino adds to 10? So in theory, I'd need to put this digit here. Well, it doesn't go there by Sudoku, or here. And it doesn't go there because one of those digits is this digit, because this digit is the one that repeats in blue. And that means that this digit, which would be a 1 or a 2, is part of at least a 3-cell sum. which means that it must consume another low digit. And that's going to mean this 5 has to be part of a 3-digit sum. Because it couldn't be the 4-digit sum that we were thinking about before. So actually, whichever thing turns out to be true here, whichever turns out to be true, things happen as a result of. So whether this yellow is in one of those two squares or on the triangle, we are in an improved position. Well, now which one of these is it? I'm no longer sure I really know. I thought we were going to end up with yellow on here because that feels incredibly constraining. It's going to use up all the low digits on this 10 sum line. Oh, I wish I was a bit cleverer and I could figure out why that's not possible or why it has to be. It's going to make one of those a high digit because can't have both of them being 5s. Let's say this was double 5. Now this is going to have to be. I think that has to be low because this digit's going to be. Yeah, it's quite complicated, but let's just put yellow here for a moment. If yellow is here, the only way this line can work is if it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 line, adding up to 10. Now, one of these sides is double 5. The other side, let's say it's this one. We don't know which one it is. It doesn't matter at the moment. I'm just exploiting symmetry. Now, this digit therefore is high because it's not 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. And it must be part of a 10 sum. But that's not good enough, is it? That's not enough for us to understand in which direction it moves. This would be 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be 6, 7, 8, 9. This square here would be. See, I don't know which way round the 10 sum goes. It's infuriating. I suppose if it goes up, then this domino would have to include a low digit, and that low digit would end up there. If it goes down, this would be a low digit, and that low digit would end up there. So one of these is low, which would mean this is high, which would mean this is low and not part of this sum. So this would be a domino. This would be at least those 3 squares. These would both be low. Oh, but that I'm assuming, hang on, I'm assuming the double 5 thing here as well, which is, yeah, this is not conducive to sense, is it? We're getting too far down the road to bifurcation here. So we've got to do more thinking. Right. Okay. How do we do that thinking? How do we do that thinking? I haven't got a clue. I have not got a clue. No, sorry, I'm just not seeing how to do this, am I? Maybe it's a different part of the puzzle then now, because at least we've got some. I know it's not maths, is it? Oh no, I know what it is. I know what it is. Ah, I've done it. Right, being slow. I'm being slow. You've all been shouting at me and I'm very embarrassed. I'm very embarrassed and I'm sorry, but this is quite complicated. Okay, I've thought of a reason why this triangle is not 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's because if I consume 1, 2, 3 and 4 on the triangle, how do I deal with all the high digits I've got to put in the green? I can't deal with them all because there's still 9 high digits. So they'd all need a 1, 2, 3 or a 4, at least one, to make a 10 sum. So I can't hypothecate 4 for this because I'm not going to have enough left to deal with the high digits. Ah, so this is huge because now I want to come back to where does yellow go in this box? Because if I can't put yellow on the triangle, I've got to put yellow in one of those 2 squares, and either of these squares is really interesting. Yep, never talk to me at a party. Because this yellow, wherever it lives, cannot be part of a 2-cell 10 sum. Because I'd need to put this specific digit on one side of it, and by Sudoku, in either case, that doesn't work. Which means that this yellow, wherever it lives, needs to be part of at least a 3-cell 10 sum. Which means that this 5, which originally I thought could consume 3 low digits, now can only consume 2 low digits, along with this yellow, wherever this lives, which also consumes 2 low digits and 1 high digit. Now that means... Oh, come on, right. So now I know which of these is yellow. I think I do. And the reason I know which of these is yellow is because I've worked out this is part of a 3-cell string on a 10-cell spectacle, which means it's got 7 cells left over, which I can't divide into dominoes, because 7 is not divisible by 2 without a remainder. So I need to have an odd length of an odd length 10 sum on this line somewhere. And the only odd length 10 sum we're allowed is the one that's got the yellow in it, because otherwise we run out of low digits because of all the high digits we've got to put into the green. So this square has to be yellow. It is 1 or 2. This is double 5. This is not 5. This is not 5. I don't know which direction this goes in. That is not yellow. Let's just tidy that up for a start. And so this is part of a 3-cell sum. This is part of a 3-cell sum. That is part of a 2-cell sum. I think. I mean, that's a mental deduction. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, I'm sure it's not important, but that is part of a 2-cell sum. And that's because you can't get either of the 3-cell sums to touch that square. So that must be part of a 2-cell sum. Because we know that there are 9 high digits that now must be paired up with exactly 1 low digit, or we'll run out of low digits, because this takes 2 low digits, this takes 2 low digits. And but this one also takes a high digit. So that gets rid of 1 of the high digits, which gets us down to a total of 8 high digits that we need, because we've got 3 here. So we put 8 low digits with 8 high digits to make 10 sums. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 8 low digits plus 2 here plus 2 here is 12, and everything is hunky-dory. Wow, okay. Right, so what do we know now then? And by the way, Qodec, this that you can allocate this digit to one of those two positions is quite ludicrous. No, ludicrous is not the right adjective. It's absolutely genius. It's just stupidly clever. Okay. So now what do we do? I don't know. Do we still need our green colouring? Maybe we don't need our green. Oh, goodness. It's amazing how that changes the look of the puzzle. Good grief. And now I can restore green. I'm going to restore green here because I like having green in my puzzle. So this digit is in one of those two squares. So this digit is in one of those two squares. Okay, so the other low digit, the one that's not, one of these that's not yellow, let's give that a colour as well. We'll make one of these red. So that is on this, that's on the triangle in box 5. And if it's on the triangle, is it with its friend or is it not with its friend? The triangle, yeah, it is with its friend, isn't it? Sorry, I'm just trying to think about this. This triangle, we've worked out that every tensum in these 3 rows that is not this one and is not this one is a 2-cell tensum. It's made up of a high digit and a low digit. So this triangle is made up of 2 tensums. But we know that the low digit, or one of the low digits on this triangle, is the red digit, which is the digit that accompanies whichever one of these is not the repeated digit. This is so confusing. But that means, given that we know there is a red digit on here somewhere, don't know where, but I think I sort of do know where, because that red digit, that low digit, is accompanying a high digit, that high digit we know is one of those 2 squares. So this high digit that goes with the red digit can only go there by Sudoku. Oh, this is getting very confusing now. So this digit is a 7, 8 or 9, and the red digit, which accompanies this digit in its tensum, is therefore one of these 2 because it can't be this one, because they cannot be in a tensum because they are not connected by a contiguous sequence. Right. I don't know. I mean, what am I meant to do now? How can this ludicrous thing ever solve from here? How long has it been? It feels like it's been about an hour. I feel like I've been taxing my brain hugely trying to work this out. Right, this between line, not between line, this grey line, I can divide, can't I? So maybe that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to colour this line according to its 10 pairs, because we know that this is the naughty old line. This has got 3-cell tensums on it. This one is only full of 2-cell tensums. So those 2 have got to be a pair. These 2 have got to be a pair. These 2 have got to be a pair. And those 2 have got to be a pair. So this line is divided up into thingies that add up to 10 now. So this... Right. Oh, here's something. This is a fourth thingy. So if we think about the number of ways you can make 10 in 2 cells, there's 4, 6, 3, 7, 2, 8, and 1, 9. So there are 4 different ways. Now, look at the sort of geometry as it applies to this domino. Now, this domino is definitely not blue. If this domino was purple, this cell could not be purple, because obviously if this was, say, 3, 7, this could be neither 3 or 7. It can't be orange, because if that was 3, 7 and you're trying to make orange a 3, 7 pair, obviously that doesn't work either. So this is some new colour. I don't know how to do this now. Am I going to have to change my colour scheme? I want to record that this is the 4th pair. It's a 4th 10 sum, and yet my green highlighting is telling me that can I really ditch the green? I don't want to ditch the green. Oh, problem is, no, I don't think I do. I don't think I do want to ditch the green. I know this digit is one of these two. I want to record. I definitely need to know that. But if I make... I'm in a bit of a quandary here. I don't quite know how to record the fact that this is a 4th colour and keep preserving what I know about these 2 squares. I could try and remember what I know about these 2 squares, but knowing me, I'm just as likely to forget it. I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Sorry. Let's make... I think what I'll do is I will make this all green. And I will make this all something else, light green. And then I will make this... and this, I'll do that to indicate it's one of these two is there, one of these two is here. Now yellow, we have to remember, which could be in either of those squares, is the digit, it's the low digit associated with the repeated digit, which is this one. But I don't know which one of these this is. So I don't really have a good way of doing that. And then red is the one that's not repeated. Now, well, okay, here's the thought then. So if we come back to this box, where does that digit go in this box? Because I know this is the 4th colour. So this purple is not green. And this purple is not blue, because obviously purple and blue cannot be the same. If this was 3, 7 and that was 3, 7, we'd have 3 digits the same from the same sort of 2 cell sum in box 6. So that digit I think goes there. Now does that mean I think this is orange? It must be orange. So what's grey now? Grey's got to be, and grey's got to be one of the colours in box 6. So it's not it's not allowed to be a new colour. So grey, all right, grey, that cell is not green, is it? Because it sees both greens. So that's not green. Oh yeah, look, grey sees both greys. See one of the cells of purple and orange. So these can't be purple or orange. So these are blue. These are blue. And now, now we get blue. Look down there. There's got to be 2 blues down here, and the diamond might come into play. And I'm not sure what's going on in row 3 yet. Let me just think about this for a second or two. Can we do any more colouring? We can. Yeah, I mean this. Yeah, here we go. I can. I know what that one is. I know what this one is. This one is not green, because that can't be green. It's not blue, because that can't be blue. And it's not purple, because that one sees both purples. So it must be the other version of a 10 sum, which is orange. Now, I don't know. I'm going to come and have a look down here. What is this saying? So this is saying we've got a diamond down here. Now we've got to remember that all bets are off, aren't they, in terms of... Goodness me, Maverick, you're making a lot of noise. Sorry for the fly past. We don't know how this line divides up, is what I mean. Because all of the clever stuff that we've worked out in these 3 rows was predicated on allocating lows and high digits within these 3 rows. This could absolutely be... I mean, it might not be able to be this, but I think it could in principle be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple on the diamond, adding up to 10. So we don't know if we have to split this into 2 cells that add up to 10 and then 2 other cells that add up to 10. Or, oh, hang on, I've just had a horrible thought. It could be, it might not be 1, 2, 3, 4, but it could be something like 6, 1, 1, 2. 6, 1, 2, no, 6, 2, 1, 1 would work. Right, so we know that there's at least 1 blue on this diamond. If there are 2 blues on the diamond, that is impossible, isn't it? Yes. Yes, it is impossible. Imagine these 2 squares were, I don't know, let's make them a 3, 7 pair. How do we now divide this diamond up into 2 10 sums? So what are we going to put with the 7? We can't put a 1, 2 pair because the 3 will be left without being in a 10 sum. So we're going to have to pair up the 7 with a 3, but we can't pair it up with a 3 because there's a 3 there. Well, no, you could say, okay, well, let's make this a 7, let's make this a 3, and let's make this a 3, and now this is okay. But once we pair this one up in a 10 sum, we're definitely going to have a problem. So that is not going to cut the mustard. So actually, so it's not this. It's not this. This square is definitely blue, and one of those 2 squares is blue. Now, so there's something going on here, isn't there? Because this square, yeah, hang on. Right, that square sees the whole of the diamond. So whichever one of these is blue is not, this is beautiful. Good grief. Yeah. Wow. So this is a 4-cell, I think this is a 4-cell sequence. And it might have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not sure about that part yet. But because this blue cell sees the whole of the sequence, or every corner of the diamond, How would we make a 2-cell sequence involving the blue that we know is on one of the points? We can't do it because it needs a second blue in one of those squares, and it can't have it because this will rule it out. So that means that this must be a 4-cell sequence. And if it's a 4-cell sequence... Oh, no. I was going to say the digit on the digit that's on the point has to be low and this has to be high, but I'm not even sure that's true. If I did 1, 2, 3, 4 here, imagine this was 4 and this was 6 and that was 2, 1 and that was 1. How does that break the world? It doesn't break the world, does it? That's acceptable. Right, bobbins. Okay, so even though it feels like we ought to know what's going on this, we don't. I bet you this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, though. That would be very pretty. Yeah. Imagine this was a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, then that digit would be orange. Because there would be a low digit here that couldn't appear on those points, so must appear on the other point. That feels very Qodec-y to me, that sort of deduction. Come on, Simon. How do we extend this colouring just a smidge further? Come on. I don't know. What about... So this middle line here, we know it's got the unrepeated digit, which is one of those two, and its friend on it, and then it's got 2 other cells that add up to 10 on it. But I think it feels like that's going to have to be a purple or an orange digit, and the purple or the orange digit's friend, which suggests to me, because I mean, imagine this was double purple in this row along with red, then where would that digit go in this box? Feels like that digit would have to be there, which implies this digit is purple or blue. But if that digit's purple or blue, how could it be that digit? Because that digit sees purple and blue. That feels like it can't be that digit. So that digit would be the repeated digit, and this digit would be that digit. This is completely and utterly bonkers. That feels right. Or that... Oh, hang on. Can we do this a different way? Where does that digit go in row 5? Can that digit be blue? No. Okay, so I'm now more confident in my deduction about this colouring and this square having to be either orange or purple. And that's because let's reinforce that logic, which I think was probably correct, by thinking about this cell. Now, where does this cell go in row 5? It's not blue, because if this was blue, this square would be in one of those 2 squares in a domino that added up to 10 with, you've guessed it, this square, because this square, the point of yellow's highlighting was it was the counterpart of this digit that adds up to 10. So if I make this one of blue yellow here, I have to pair it up with this digit, and that's going to put 2 of that digit in this row. So this digit goes in one of those 2 squares, and that means in this row by Sudoku, and that means that digit is red, it is not yellow, which means this digit is not yellow. Sorry, it's not red, it is yellow, which means this digit is this pair, which means this square is not 7, this square is not 3. We don't know. Do we? No, we don't. We don't know what this is. Do we? No, we know this is odd, actually, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we do, because we're adding to 25, and we've got double that digit. So double that digit's going to be an even number, so we need this digit to be the singular odd number, which means we've got some odd stuff going on here, which means this square is now this digit, which means that square loses its greenliness. That square gains more extra greenliness. Now what? Now what? Okay. Let me just mull this for a second or two. Come on. I don't know whether I want this yellow to join up with this digit, or to join up with this digit, or to be on its own. I think it could be on its own if that digit goes there, and then that would be yellow. And then this would be part of a 3-cell sequence, which would be those squares. This would be part of a 3-cell sequence, and that would be part of a 10-sum. Which that feels difficult as well, actually. Hang on. Right, so about quite a long time ago, I said something facetious about this cell. I want to revisit that for a moment now. I said this cell here could not be part of a 3-cell sequence because this can't get to it and this can't get to it. So that's part of a 2-cell sequence. Now, which way does it go in its 2-cell sequentialness? If it goes into those 2 squares, it has to be capable of being one of the colours in box 6, doesn't it? Well, it's clearly not capable of being orange, or purple, or blue, which means it needs to be capable of being green, but it can't be green because it sees that square, and that's part of green sequence, and that means that this cell is actually part of a 2-cell domino with that cell there, and this is going to be very interesting for our 5. Because now we've, let me see if we can do this with a clever bit of lineage. Look at that. That is a 2-cell sequence adding to 10. So what's this part of now? Well, this 5 we know is part of a 3-cell sequence. So it must take in that digit. It must do. Let's just use a different colour. So that is a sequence, because we can't leave this on its own. It needs to be part of a sequence that adds to 10, so it must go dut. And then, well, then we don't know. No. Yes, we do. Oh, this is so sick. Right. Okay, let's look at this sequence now. Now, one of these is yellow. Is it possible that this domino now is a domino that adds up to 10? Well, if it is, it's green. Because yellow, we know, goes with the green colour, and that's going to break that cell. So that is not part of a domino. Doesn't matter where the yellow is, it cannot be part of a domino here that adds to 10. So this, we've got another little bit of sequentialness. Hang on, let me just try and... I wanted to make that blue. Sorry. Like that. That's a sequence. And then we're left, look, with another little sequence up there, which is the final piece of this left-hand spectacle. And now, Right, so now these two squares are suddenly they're even more interesting, because that is a sequence that adds to 10 that includes double this digit. So if this is a 1, this has to be a 1-8 pair, because it's going to be 1-8-1. If this is a 2, this has got to be a 2, or it's got to be a 2-6 pair. 6-2-2 will add up to 10. So these two squares are much more restricted than they used to be. These two squares add up to 5. Okay. All right, that's all good. So now we could argue about... I need to allocate colours to this green bit of the line and this purple bit of the line, neither of which could be blue, because neither of those squares could be blue. That square also can't be green. So this one is either orange or purple. I don't know if it's worth recording that. It probably is. This is an orange-purple situation, this line. This line is not. This line is not blue. This top digit doesn't see both flavours of green though, so I should give that I'm going to make that a bit more green, just so it's even more. Why has that got blue highlighting in it? That shouldn't have blue highlighting. That's a yellow digit for sure. I mean, what on earth am I meant to do now? I mean, really, tell me, what am I meant to do with this? Green. Alright, I can do something in column 7, I think. So column 7, I haven't allocated green to yet. Now, there's one free cell down there, and there's 2 cells up there. Now, if both of these greens go up here, that cell would have to be high green, wouldn't it? Because it sees low green. But you can't put 9 or 8 here on a 3-cell 10 sum, because even if I put 1 and 2 in there, I'm going to break the bank. So only one of these cells can be green, which means one of these 2 squares is green. And, okay, well that's interesting. That is interesting. Because now, I can't... We know that this is a 4-cell sequence, don't we? So the digit here that goes on the diamond is is this digit. So it's yellow. There is a yellow in one of those. The yellow version of green, along with the blue, which presumably has to be the low... No, it doesn't have to be the low blue, because it could be 6121 again. Ah! Oh, goodness me. Alright, but the high green now is up here and still can't go there, so that's a high green. Which means high green is in one of these. Can you put a high green here? That would be... No, you can't. If this is high green, this is low green, which is the yellow digit, and then I've got to put yellow in one of those, and that doesn't seem to work from a colouring perspective. So green is in one of those 2 squares, high green. And this column, look, needs another purple, so that's purple. Doesn't tell us very much at all about this line, I fear, but it's still a minor deduction. Right, okay, and also I've got something else. Now by Sudoku we can't put high green here, so that's high green. So that square is an 8 or a 9. I've got purple, purple. So those two are purple, which means this square. I've run out of room here. What's this digit? 5. Is it 5? Well, that would be massive if this is 5. Hang on. Let me think about this. This is... I've got all 4 colours in there. I think that's right. So by sort of elimination, that's become a 5. And now this line... Well, now there's a 5 up there by Sudoku. I'm not sure what it means for this line. Well, I'll tell you one thing it means. It means the blue digit on this line is now not 6 or something like that, because the line won't work. So this digit needs to be the high blue digit. So that's got to be 6, 7, 8, 9. One of these, well... Well, there's now a repeated digit. This digit, let's call that A. That digit's in one of those squares. Because if these were 3 different digits, they would add up to at least 6, and that's going to break the 10 line total. So that digit needs to be one of those 2 squares, which means this digit is now either yellow, might be possible, or blue. It's one of those things for sure. It also means, I think, that this digit is very low, because it's repeating on the line. So it can't be 3 now, because that's going to break the bank. So this is a 1 or a 2. If it's 2, the other digit here is a 1. If this is 1, the other digit here is a 3. So these are from 1, 2 and 3. And now this square can't be a 6, because we can't put 4 on this line. So now we know that the blue digits are from 1, 2, 3 and 7, 8, 9. That's just so useless, isn't it? It doesn't do anything at all. Oh, botheration. Okay. I don't know what I'm meant to do with that knowledge. It would be quite useful if there's some way of, if there was a way of dividing blue up. I know one of these is yellow. Well, the other thing that would be useful would be learning the nature, the colour of the light green digit, because again the light green red pair has to correspond to something in this box, doesn't it? Oh, and in fact, okay, we know that it's one of those 2 colours. Wait a second, hang on. Light green is either orange or purple. And I don't know which. But blue, light green, light green is not blue. Light green, by definition, from where we started, is not green. So light green is orange or purple. And all I'm seeing here is that there is a floating 7, 8, 9 triple in this box between blue's high digit is a 7, 8 or a 9, green's high digit, which is an 8 or a 9, and light green's digit, which is in one of those 2 squares. Now, the reason that is catching my attention is that means that either orange or purple is the 4, 6 pair, because we know that one isn't, and whichever one of these is green isn't. So either orange or purple is a 4, 6 pair, which means one of these digits is a 4 or a 6. Don't know which one. So it's sort of two levels of floatingness being applied. But that 4 or 6, where does it go in this box? By Sudoku, it's got to go on the line. And if it goes on the line, it's going to go with its friend, which means that there is a 4-6 pair in those digits. And that means that square is not a 6. And it means that the accompaniment to that square now is not able to be 2, is it? Because we now know the high digit here is an 8. So we know this is 8, 1, and that is a 1. There we go. We've done it. When I say done it, that doesn't really mean we've done it. It just means we've got something. We've now learned that yellow is 1. So this is 1. This is 9. This is 9. This is 1. This is 9. There is a 1 which we already probably knew if we'd thought about it. We did already know there was a 1 in one of those squares. Yeah, okay. So if there's a 1 in one of these squares, and there is, because they can't be a 2-3 pair, where does 1 go in this box? Well, it's not blue, and it's not there, so it goes on the line. So that's yellow and green. We'll give it its full allocation of thinginess. So now this square here is a 7 by Sudoku. And this square here is a 3 because we know those two add up to 10, which means these squares are now exactly equal to 3, 4 and 6. And we know that this digit, which is the 7, must go with the 3 in one of those two positions. That is not a 3. This is still the mysterious colour. We don't know the meaning. We know it's the one of those two. We don't know which one yet. At least I don't think we do. We know blue is not 9 now. So blue has come down to 7 or 8. So hang on. Yeah, so I know whichever one of these is yellow is the one. Oh, blue, hang on, blue is not 7. Because neither of those can be 7. So blue is 8. Blue is 2, 8, we've suddenly learnt out of nowhere. So blue is 2, 8, which means that's 8, which means there's a 2 on this line along with the 1. So this is a 1, 2 pair. 1 plus 2 plus 5 is 8, which means this is 2, which means it's blue. There we go. Bingo. Bah. Okay, what were these? Okay, look, 1, 8 is looking at that. So that's 2, that's 8, that's 8, that's 2. Well, this is quite exciting now. This really is quite exciting. Okay, the low digit, these two cells add up to 5, and that one has to be a 2 or a 4, which tells me this is odd and is 1 or 3. Looks like it wants to be the yellow digit, doesn't it? Okay, I'm not sure. Do I know? I know that digit's a 9. That's just the green high digit. These squares, I suppose I know, don't I? Those have got to be 2, 8 and 9 by Sudoku. That's not able to be 2. Oh, come on, Simon. Come on. I feel like we're doing a bit better all of a sudden. All I've got to do now, all he's got to do is to figure out a little bit more. I've got a feeling we're going to have to do Sudoku in a moment. I know one of these is a 7, but I don't think I know which one. But that means one of those is a 3, doesn't it? Yeah, we already knew that if I thought about it. 2, 8, 9. Oh, here's something. There's a 2 down here and there's a 2 here. So there's a 2 in one of those 3 squares. If I put 2 in either of those 2 positions, I have to put 8 above it in terms of its 10 line, and I can't. So that's got to be 2, which means this has got to be 3. Now, is that useful? So that's become blue. Oh, okay. So This is tricky because I still haven't allocated a colour to this one. But I know it's one of these, so I know that this digit is like this digit. It's either... Yeah, okay, sorry, this is obvious. Where does 9 go in this row? It can't go there because that would be a 1, so that's got to be a 9. And that's got to be a 1. And therefore that's got to be a 9 because that's got to be the high green digit. Wow. Okay, so now this is getting interesting for this line, which apparently has now got a 9 on it in one of those squares. So if it's got a 9 on it, we can't make that 9 part of a 3-cell sum. So that's part of a 2-cell sum, and it can't be that because that can't be a 10. So that is a 1-9 pair. I was thinking we were going to be able to write that in, but it appears we can't. This is part of a 10 sum. Right, that's not 3-7. So this is either a 2-8 in a very specific order, which is that order, or it's 4-6. Oh, come on, you rotten old thing. Alright, let's look up this. Oh, look, it's beautiful. There we go, we've done it. Look up here, look up this column. Now that's a 10 sum. And that must be 4-6. It's the only thing we've got left available, which puts 8 in the corner. Oh, I've not been looking for 3s in corners. Oh, look. That's 2, that's 1. That gets bluified. This gets the yellowy greeny thing. So that was a sort of hidden 10 sum down here. This is blue. This is green and yellow. Do I know? Yeah, one of those apparently is the 1, and we know which one it is. So that's 1, that's 9. The 9 is completely green. This one gets both colours. That one gets both colours. This one is now not yellow. We just need to sort out the 3, 7s, 4, 6 colours, and I think we're home and hosed. Those two squares add up to 9. Right, and they don't use 1, 8 or 2, 7. So this is either 4, 5, which would have to be 5 there, 4 there, or 3, 6. Bobbins McBobbins face. Apparently we don't know anything about 3s and 6s in that box. 3, 4, 5, 6. Where's 7 in this box? Don't know. What about these digits then? 4, 6 and 7. Okay, I don't know. 4, 6, 7. So this square is either 3, 4 or 6. This square is either 3, 4 or 6. And let me guess, that square is either 3, 4 or 6. That one. This one is not 3. So that one is 4 or 6, which means that one is 4 or 6. I'm just going to check that. Hang on, let me just think about that again. 3, 4, 6. Yeah, that's 4, 6. So this is 4, 6. But I still don't know the colour of it, so it's not really great. This is 4, 6 and 7 then, is it? No. What's this? Oh, 4, 5 and 6. Right, so this is 4, 5 and 6. So this is a 10, 9, so that's 4, 6 or double, so it could be double 5. I've got a, oh, look, the 1 here is doing work. That's 1, that's 8. We can do both colours here. So this one we know is now blue. 8 is in one of those two squares by Sudoku. That one needs to be our favourite green-yellow pair. That one loses its flash. 3 is a red digit. Yeah, 3 is a red digit, but in the end we need to make it either purple or orange. There's a 4, 5, 6 triple here. So this column needs 2, 3 and 7, and the 2 is at the top, and that's been available for ages and I just didn't spot it. So 2 is here by Sudoku in box number, that means that's 2 by Sudoku. We're just doing some Sudoku. We won't do much of it, don't worry. Okay, so what are those digits now? 7 and 8. Okay, and what are these squares are... Right, these squares are 4, 5 and 6 in the column, I think. And that one can't be 5, so that's 4 or 6, and that is very pretty, because now I know what that is. Because this digit sees both of those cells. So if this was a 4-6 pair, you couldn't put this cell in the grid. It would see both of its possibilities. So that's a double 5 pair. Ah, double 5. Those are not 5 now. Has that helped us a little bit, maybe? These squares are a 3-7 pair. No, it's still it's being recalcitrant. Oh, please. Please give up now. You've been absolutely magnificent. But time is moving on. Oh no! Imagine if there's more hideously complicated stuff to go. That will not be good. Okay. How about 9s? Yes, alright, 9. If I double click the 9s, it seems like there are a lot of them in this grid. And I can see that seems to have to be a 9, which gives me a 9 here and an 8 here, which we must, of course, colour. That goes without saying. The 8, oh, hang on, no, I just want to do the big digits. Where are the 8s? Yes, I get an 8 here. Good. So I don't get an 8 up there. 8's got one of 2 positions, which looks like it's mirroring over there. Okay. Oh, this is a 10 sum. Ah, that's it. That's it. Look. This row. Whoa. That can't be a 4, 6, 10 sum because of this square. So this must be a 3, 7. And that's finally done the colouring. We get a 4, 6. So it's 4 6s are purples. Look at this. This is going to be absolutely splendid because now that has to be a 7 by Sudoku, which means this is a 3, this is a 7, this is, that's a 4 or 6, but we know it's purple now. We know it's not orange. Anything purple is 4, 6. So that is 4 or 6. So what does that mean for this? These have to add up to 9. Oh. It just means that's not 6 anymore. Oh, sorry. I thought that was going to be absolutely mighty. Right, that's a 4, 6 pair in row 2, I've just noticed. This is a 4, 6 pair. This is a 4, 6 pair. This is a orange pair. Okay, now we can redesignate 7s, can't we? 7s and 3s need to be the colour of orange. So one of these is orange. 7 is in one of... where's 7 in this box down here? It's got to go at the bottom. So that's 7, that's 3, that's 5. So that's 5 at the top. So this is 3 now, which is lovely. What? Oh, yes, it is. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Oh, this is just absolutely joyful. Now, what's that? I have no idea. I should be able to just write it in, but my brain's getting tired. That's a 7, I think. So that's 7, that's 8, that's 8. This is 3. This is 4 or 6. I hope these 4 6s aren't making a deadly... Oh, they're not making a deadly pattern, of course, because of this line. That's going to resolve it, is it? Let's just see how far we can get with that thought. This is a 3. So this is a 4 6 pair. We know that must therefore turn orange. These both become purple. Everything 4 and 6y becomes purple. And in this box down here... that square is a naked single 3, isn't it? Which is an orange. So these are a 4 6 pair. And they are both purple. So 3s all become that colour. 7s all become that colour. And if we look at this line, this has to be a 6 to make the 10 sum work. And then we're going to be able to propagate this, are we, throughout? We are, you know, it's just going to go, isn't it? That does the whole caboodle. The whole shebang. Wow. Ah! Nearly lost that 8's blueliness. And that one. Oh no! And that one, it doesn't have a flash. I've probably got some flashes wrong elsewhere in the grid, but I think we're just left with uncoloured 5s. Now let's this is the moment of truth. Let's click tick. I don't know. 30 people have solved that. You're kidding me. Well done. Well done. That's really hard. I mean, it's utterly brilliant though, isn't it? I mean, that is about as hard. That's about as hard as I can imagine a 10-sum puzzle being. It's so clever. The logic around the allocation of those 3 complete rows and having to think through how they work with the 5s and the low and the high digit allocations, and then noticing there was a restriction on this digit. And then, I mean, this was absolutely extraordinary. The fact you could then allocate this digit to one of these cells here, and you know which one because you know that. Because at that point, we knew that this couldn't be part of a 2-cell sum. I mean, that's just unbelievable thinking from a setter. I mean, Qodec is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Some of this stuff that we get to solve now is, frankly, it's ludicrous how clever people are. I cannot tell you. I just am lost in admiration for setting like this. That's a magnificent Sudoku and quite hard. There, I've said it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. I've got to get on with editing this puzzle, adding the titles and stuff, and getting it uploaded, or it won't appear by heat 30. But thank you for watching, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.